yesterday, excuse me, we looked at addition strategies, and we kind of took the day to let you guys share some of the strategies you have used before and go through those and then work on some addition problems using those different strategies. Subtraction, for some reason, just in general, with every class I've ever had, has always proven to be a lot more difficult than addition. Some of you guys are really good at subtraction already, and that is absolutely awesome. But I want to take some time really to do subtraction today, go over a couple strategies that I know and practice, and then go and do subtraction again tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to split it 2 strategies today and 2 strategies tomorrow. So we're going to work on those, and then you're going to get some time to practice and discuss your strategies for subtraction on a discussion on Canvas afterwards. So our goal, is there anybody who would like to read our goal in subtraction for today? I'm going to let Ms. Weibel find somebody with their hand up on their camera because I'm sharing my screen. Alejandro, go ahead and read the goal out loud for us, please.
Our goal today is to be able to solve subtraction problems with thousands, use a number line, or subtracting by place.
Okay, so those are the 2 strategies we're really going to hit today, using a number line or subtracting by place. So just like the addition problem, I want to talk about subtraction problems. So these words you probably don't see that often, and they're really not as important, but minuend is the larger number in a subtraction problem, and subtrahend is the smaller one. I don't expect you guys to remember them. I do expect you to remember that when we're looking at subtraction, we're trying to find the difference between the 2 numbers. So in this, 5 is the whole, 2 and 3 are the 2 parts together that make 5, but 3 is the difference between the minuend and subtrahend. Again, I don't expect you to remember the word minuend or subtrahend. Just remember the fact that the difference is the answer to a subtraction problem because it's the difference between the larger and the smaller number in the subtraction sentence. So we're going to use a number line. I'm going to show you how to use a number line to solve the problem 674 minus 233. And I'm going to do it the way that I always teach people to solve subtraction problems on a number line. You may have a different one that works for you, and that is great. You can use the number line in subtraction however you need to do it, and you are welcome to go back in and discuss that. Today we're doing a discussion and tell your classmates about it. But as far as the strategy, I'm going to teach it the way I've done it. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to use my strategy on this problem. So the first one is I'm going to start at the larger number on the number line, which means I'm not going to start all the way down here, right? That's the smaller side. So in addition, I started down here at the smaller number, and I jumped here. I jumped up in addition, right? Well, this is subtraction. So in subtraction, I'm going to start at the other end, and I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to start down at the far right side on my number line at 674, okay? And I'm going to show you the longer way to do this and the shorter way to do this. So I'm going to start with jumping just by place value in the ways that are comfortable for me. So I'm starting at 674. I know I have to go back 233. So personally, some of you may not be comfortable jumping by the full 200 and then 30, so you can break it apart. I can go backwards 100, right, to get to 574. There's 200s up here, right? There's 2 in the hundreds place. So that means I'm going to go back 1 more 100. And I'm going to get to 474. Now in the tens place, there's 3 10s or 30. And instead of going back by 30 in a big jump, I'm going to go back 10, 20, 30. And I can go backwards by 10. So 474, 464, 454, 444. And then I have 3 1s, and I can just go ahead and go back 3 1s and get to 441. Right? That's the longer way if I don't want to skip just by the whole place, and I need to break it down because it's easier for me. If it's more comfortable for you to do it that way, excuse me, that's fine, and do it that way, whatever you need to do to get the problem right. However, I can make larger jumps if I'm comfortable with it and I know how to subtract by place. So what I mean by that is I can start at 674 and I can just go back 200 to start instead of 100 and then 100 and get to 474 because I'm 2 out of the hundreds place. Then I can go back 30. Actually, I need to change that. That jump's way too big based on my 200. Then I can go back 30, right, and get to 444 because I have a 7 in the tens place and I'm subtracting 3 tens, so now I have a 4 in the tens place. Then I can go back my 3 ones and get to 441, right? So it just depends on what you're comfortable with. Some of you might need to go 100, 100, 10, 10, 10. That's perfectly fine. Other people may be fine, completely fine with skipping by the larger number. Just depends on how you want to do it. Okay, so we're going to talk through this one together. Okay, so raise your hand if you can tell me what number I'm going to start with on the number line. Cynthia, where am I going to start on the number line?
78.
Can you be a little bit louder, Cynthia? Sorry, because I'm not sitting right by my computer. Okay, she froze. I think she said 783. So I'm going to start at this end right here. 783. Is there a volunteer who can tell me what I'm going to start with when I'm jumping backwards on my number line? Clay.
You would jump back 400.
Okay, so I'm going to jump back 400. I'm going to make the big jump of minus 400. Can somebody besides Clay tell me if I'm not comfortable going back to 400s, what I could do instead? Michael, what could I do instead if I didn't want to just go back all the way 400 to start?
You can subtract 60 from the 80.
Okay, I could start in the tens place, yep. But I mean more like this, right? I could go 100, 200, 300, 400, right? That's the same thing. I could just do it by 100 each time if I didn't want to do the 400. But we're in 4th grade, and most of us, I think, can probably count by at least by the one place. So I'm going to go back 400. Who can tell me what I'm going to have at that spot on my number line after I go back 400? CJ.
383.
383, right? It's going to be 300 because I had a 7 in the hundreds place. I took 4 hundreds away, so now I have a 3 in the hundreds place. Now, Michael, I'm going to go back to you. Now, what's my next step, Michael, now that I've already subtracted 400?
You subtract 60 from the 80.
Yep. So I'm going to go back 60 now from 383. And who can tell me where that's going to put me on the number line? Cynthia, since you froze last time, you can tell us now.
2.
So I'm going to have a 2 in the tens place, yes. So 323, right? Because I had an 8 now in the tens place. I took 6 tens away, so now I have a 2 in the tens place. And then the last thing I need to subtract is the 1 place. So Guadalupe, how many more am I going to subtract now that I've gotten to 323? What's still left?
Three.
What have I not subtracted yet? So if I look up here, I've done my 400, I've done my 60. What do I still need to subtract? Is there anybody who can help Guadalupe out? Corbin, what do I still need to take away? Make sure you unmute yourself.
4.
Thank you. 4, right? So I'm going to go back 4 more. So So it's a little tricky because I'm going to go actually, if I go back 3, that's 320. So it's 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. So my answer then is going to be 319, right? So that is jumping back on the number line by the place kind of. And notice, to me, it's helpful. I'm going to erase it up top so you can see it again. If you want to figure out what jumps you're going to have to make to break apart that number by place value, like into expanded form, to do 460 and 4. So I know that those are the different jumps I have to make backwards on my number line. All right, let's move on. I want you to try one on your own on your whiteboard. 463 minus 178. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. All right. I want you, even if you know how to use a different strategy for today, I want you to use a number line to do 463 minus 178. If you don't have a whiteboard, you can use paper and a pencil. Okay. Or a pen or marker, whatever you got in front of you. But 463 minus 178. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer. On your mark, get set, go. Just a moment. Remember, try not to show anything on your whiteboard until we finish. Just that way people can do the work on their own and we don't have people just looking at somebody else's work. Guys have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Be thinking about how you can talk us through your solution. I'm going to let somebody talk us through what they did. Seconds. Anybody want to volunteer to share with us how they solved the problem, what they did step by step? Any brave souls, risk takers? Corbin, talk us through it.
I made my number line, and I started with 463.
All right.
And then minus 100. Got 363.
Okay, thank you. What do you do next?
Then I minus 70 from 363.
And
I
what'd you get?
got 293
Good, 293.
minus 70.
I think you froze.
And then I got 293.
Okay, and after 293, what'd you do?
293. And then I minus 8 from 293, and I got 285.
Okay, thank you, Corbin. I'm going to talk through that one more time.
285.
Okay, I'm going to talk through that one more time because Corbin, I don't know about everybody else, but he was coming in kind of choppy on mine. We got it. Thank you, Corbin, for sharing.
Minus 8, and I got 285.
Okay, thank you, Corbin. So Corbin started with 463 on the far right in the number line. I'm going to kind of take another marker out and show you.
It's skipping. I
Right
couldn't
here.
hear Corbin.
I know, Corbin's skipping, so that's why I'm going through it again. So he started with 463 on the far right. He subtracted his 100 because there's a 1 in the hundreds place right here, and he got 363. After that, he subtracted his 70 in the tens place. He went back 70 and got to 293. Then he subtracted his 8 in the ones place and got to 285. Now, if you were somebody who has a little bit more trouble subtracting like 363 minus 70, you could break apart that number any way you wanted, right? So just really quickly, I'm going to show you. Let's say you didn't know how to do 70, but you could do 60, right? So let's say you want to do 363 and then you did minus 60 and you got 303. Well, you did 70, so you still got to go 10 more, but that's a little bit easier to deal with. So 303 minus 10 is 293. Then you can do your minus 8 and get to 285, right? So you can make those jumps anyway as long as you end up doing 100, 70, and 8. You can make the jumps however you want. That's one of the nice things about a number line. It takes a little bit more time, but you can kind of break the numbers up a little bit easier on a number line any way you would like. All right, we're going to go through one more strategy. So the other one we can use is subtracting by place value, which is where you're going to take one number and you're going to just subtract the place value from it one at a time. So I'm going to show you, just like with the number line, I'm going to go to green here. I'm going to break my 231 into 200, 30, and 1. So then I'm going to start with my regular number, 345. I'm going to do 345 minus that 200. Right? And after I do that, I'm going to end up with 145 because I'm only subtracting the hundreds place right there. Then I'm going to do 145, and I'm going to go on to the next part, and I'm going to do minus 30. And I'm going to get 115 because just like on the last one, this time I'm only subtracting the tens place. So 4 in the tens place minus 1 in the tens place gives me 1 in the tens place. Then I'm going to do 115, and I'm going to take away my 1 that's up here, So 115 minus 1, and I'm going to get 114, right? I'm just taking, so if I circle this middle part, I lasso this part in the middle, you can see I have 231, which is the same number as what's up here. All right, so I'm just taking each place and subtracting that way. So let's do one of those together where we kind of talk through it step by step. So the first thing I want to do is break apart the number. Who can tell me how I would break apart 318? Ania, how would I break apart 318?
You can write, first you can subtract 700 from 40. 700 from 300.
Okay, Ania, hang on a second. All I want you to do, Ania, is tell me if I broke up 318 by the place values, like last one. On the last one, we said 231 was 200 and the hundreds 30 and 1. How would I do that with 318?
So you write 300 by down those 3, and then at the 1 you write 10.
Yep.
And then 8.
Very good. Okay, now Ania, you can go ahead and tell me that first part. 742, what am I going to do?
Minus 318. 318.
Remember, when I'm just doing place, so I'm just doing 300 to start.
Yeah, 300.
So that's going to, what's that going to give me?
It's going to give you, minus 300.
I'm doing the hundreds place. 700s minus 300s. How many hundreds am I going to have left?
400.
Yep, and my 42 stays the same because we're not subtracting any 10s or 1s. So 442. All right, who can tell me what I'm going to do next? Alexander, what am I going to do next?
You're gonna do.
So I took off the 300. Now I'm going to go to which place? So I'm done with the hundreds place. What am I going to go to? Which place?
The tens place.
The tens place, right? So I'm going to write my 442 that I have left. What am I going to subtract from my 442? Tens place. How many tens do I have in that number?
40.
Nope, right here, just 110, right? So 442 minus 10, I'm going to get 432. Denise, what's my next step?
You're gonna do, you're gonna do 8.
Yep, 432 minus 8. That's going to give me 424, right? Because I'm going to do the 432 minus, and that's my answer, 424. All right? We're not going to take time and do that one all completely on our own. So we're going to actually move forward. All right? So your job today, okay, is first, before we get started, in a second, you're going to respond to which strategy you prefer to use. Do you rather use a number line, or would you rather subtract by place? Okay, and then after that, you're going to go on to Canvas. I'm going to show you, you're going to go to Tuesday. You're going to go to Math. And then your only job today is a discussion. So you have one problem. Your two strategies are right here on the left number line, and subtracting by place, here's examples. It says solve the following subtraction problem, then explain how you solved it to your classmates. Use either the number line strategy or subtracting by place value. Be sure to explain how you solved it using math language. So there's your problem, 567 minus 349. And then it says follow our guidelines for discussion. Stay on topic, be respectful, and this is the one thing we've been forgetting. Reply to 2 of your classmates. All right, so after you've solved it and you've shared your experience or how to do it, so respond to 2 classmates. Okay, that's your job. So first, in just a second, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. In just a second, you're going to type in the chat box which strategy you would like to use better. Then I'm going to let you go to do math. We are going to read chapter 2 of The Tiger Rising during office hours at 2 o'clock. So I need you to log back in on my office hours on the need help button at 2 o'clock to listen to the read aloud of Tiger Rising. Okay? That's at 2 o'clock. Everybody got that? If you, for some reason, cannot make that, then you can go and listen to it in the word work section. But I would really like it if you can be on the office hours to listen on the office hours. All right? CJ, you're good to go ahead and log off. Everybody, you can now type in which strategy you prefer, and then you can log off and do math. Jay, you're good to go. CJ, you're good to go. Clay, you're good to go. Alex, you may go.
Bye.
Bye, Clay. Asil, you're good to go. See you guys at 2 o'clock. Guadalupe, you may go. Cynthia, you're good to go. Eric, you're good to go. See you at 2 o'clock. Ania, you're good to go.
Bye. Bye.
Mr. Hoffman, can we leave Eduardo on for a second?
Yep. Yes.